All right, everybody, welcome to Dinner with the McIntyre's. So, tonight we are cooking up a home chef recipe, Japanese sirloin steak. All right, it says here, prep and cook time 30 to 40 minutes. You want to cook this within 6 days. It's an easy level recipe. It's not spicy. Here's the stuff that comes in our box. It's a jasmine rice, 8-ounce carrot, 2 sirloin steaks, 6.6 ounces of butter. Oh, I lost it. 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of Asian ginger, garlic, and chili rub. The tonkatsu sauce, mirin, and a beef demi-glaze. So, it's going to tell us we need olive oil, salt and pepper, a small pot, a medium non-stick pan. It also gives you this cute little note that says, before you cook, please take a moment to read through the recipe before you start. We promise it'll be time well spent. Thoroughly rinse produce and pat dry. So we've already done that. Our first step is to start the rice. Next is prepare your ingredients. Cook the steaks and make the sauce. Alright. So what I've done already is I shaved the carrots, took the skins off of them. So I apologize, you guys. This is the first time that I'm making a video like this. I'm still trying to figure out the angles and all of that fun stuff. In order to peel your carrot, you're going to need a peeler. So what this is designed to do is to help people who may not know anything about Home Chef, for people who don't know how to cook or anything of that manner. It's going to help them learn how to cook. Just getting my water prepared for my rice. Which I did not do beforehand, so I apologize for that. So in order to start the rice, we're going to bring a small pot with rice and 1 cup of water to a boil. So we're going to use our measuring cup. We're going to set it on a flat surface. We're going to get down eye level and make sure that it's 1 cup. We're going to come to our pot. We're going to pour the water into our pot. And I'm using a gas stove, as you guys can tell. I'm really into the gas stove. I feel that it cooks evenly, more even, I guess you'd say. I always get down eye level to make sure that the flame is not going up over the pot. That's just something that I do, because I feel that if it's going over the pot, then it's heating it up too much, and if it's not going enough into the pot, you're not getting the disbursement all the way. So I'm just going to turn this back over. Y'all bear with me. Alright. I need to figure out a way to get this to where you guys can see everything exactly. Alright, so I'm taking the rice. It's prepackaged in this little container, all ready for us. And I'm just going to cut the top off so I can just pour it in. Because it says to heat the rice and the water at the same time. So I want to make sure that I do that. Also, I want to give this a nice quick little stir and distribute. Whoops. Told you guys I'm a messy cooker. Distribute that completely throughout. So in the instructions, it says, if I can see that far, bring a pot with rice and 1 cup water to a boil, reduce to a simmer, cover and cook until tender 18 to 20 minutes. Then remove from the burner, fluff rice, and keep covered. While this is cooking, you want to prepare the ingredients. Okay. So, as we do that, I need to find the lid for my pot, because I forgot to grab it. Let's see if this one fits. Perfect! So when we are ready to cover that, we will go ahead and do that. So while that, see now the edges are coming to a boil, but you want it to actually be a rolling boil. This is not a rolling boil at this point. See how the center is not rolling? It's close, but not quite. And I will tell you, the jasmine rice smells really good. It doesn't have that regular rice smell to it. So that's really good. We're just going to make sure that it doesn't stick. Yes, it's a non-stick pan. However, as you can see, this is an older pan, and I have not went out and bought new pans yet. It's an old Paladine pan from 2011. So I've had her a few years. This is my newest pan. It's a Tefal. It was on sale. But the red induction on it is amazing. So while we're waiting for that to boil, which I feel like it's getting ready to do. Man, that smells good already. I'm super excited about this. Okay. So I'm going to say it's good. So I'm going to turn it down to low. And I'm going to let this simmer. So it said 18 to 20 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 18 minutes. Just so I can be sure that I check it. See, around 18 minutes. Alright, so we're going to come back over here. And while that's all processing, I am going to do my carrots and my other ingredients. So it says first peel and trim and cut carrots into 1/2-inch slices at an angle. So I'm going to use my mandolin slicer, which rusted on me, which I'm not very happy about, but it is what it is. And we do. And we go on. So at an angle. You're supposed to use the thing at all times, but I'm a rebel. You want to ensure that you're keeping that angle on the carrot. It is hard to do, yes, but you're getting more surface area of your carrot. So now I'm going to go ahead and put it in my slicer, or in my holder. That way I don't cut my finger like I have before. My husband will laugh at me. When I cut my finger, I didn't even know that I cut it until I looked down and there was blood everywhere. So they are very sharp. We've had this one about I'd say probably a year now. But our mistake was we put it in the dishwasher, and it says that you can put it in the dishwasher, but we didn't realize that it would make it rust. So that's our bad. Whoopsie. Runaway carrot, y'all. Runaway carrot. My bowl's getting a little full. So we'll just let it fall out on the counter here a little bit. It'll be fine. Because we'll just pick it right back up. Counters are clean, disinfected before we started, so we're good. No cross-contamination here. Alright. I'll set those aside. Alright. Now, this says to take your steaks and pat them dry. So the reason why you want to pat them dry is to make sure that the seasoning sticks on it. Or so I'm guessing. I'm not a professional cook, so I don't know. The people who did this, they're professionals, and I'm just going to go with what they say. So, alright. So I have different cutting boards. Red is for meat. Okay. So I do not have the hand strength for that, so I'm just going to cut them open. The reason that I have the different cutting boards is because of cross-contamination. Sometimes they are porous, so just in case. I don't want the bacteria and whatnot to get stuck and then transfer onto my vegetables. Okay. Don't think. Nope, there's nothing on here that is important information, so I can just throw that away. So we're just going to pat these dry. Literally, it is just patting it dry. Like, no joke. It's that simple. The reason I started getting these Home Chef recipes, or boxes I should say, is because I am not a fancy cook. I am not a chef by any means. So I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. So I started getting these. So So we want to season both sides with a little salt and pepper. Whoops. That came out a little fast. But that's alright. Alright. So now we've got those done. So step 2 of 5 is complete. I'm going to wash my hands. Because next they want you to cook the carrot. Which I don't understand why you would prepare your steak before, but just like I said, I'm not a professional. And no, I did not sneeze on my hands. Thank you. So I'm not sure what the purpose of seasoning before you cook your carrots is. So that one will just be a mystery for me until I read up on it. I will Google it at some point. Okay. So now that step 2 is done, we can go to step 3, which is a big thing here. So we bring a medium non-stick pan with 1/4 cup of water. So I need to get a 1/4 cup of water. Pour that into my pan, which I think technically this is considered a large pan, but whatever. Just going to turn this down. Mommy's cooking dinner. What are you doing, buddy? What? No, I'm making steak. Don't touch, buddy. What are you doing? Why don't you go watch TV while Mommy cooks? No. Alright. So there's the butter. It's in. Now, the sugar. See, everything comes already pre-measured, pre-packaged, done and done. So we'll just mix this together. Put all of my carrots in there and stir them around. What, buddy? Oh, yeah, I see that. Go ahead and go watch TV, please. Yeah, I'm making carrots. Lime. Huh? Lime. What? Lime. No, no lime. All right. No, no. Mommy's busy. It says to add some salt. Hey, go on. Get out of my kitchen, please. You're not supposed to be in the kitchen. Go watch TV.
I can't watch TV.
Why not?
Something else.
What?
Something else.
Something else?
Lighter.
Einstein's not on. Oh my goodness, baby meltdown. So this said to take 5 to 8 minutes, get them tender. I do not have a way to cover this pan. I do not have a lid for it. So I cannot cover them. So we are just waiting on these two things to get done. I think something that would be beneficial is taking another pan and using 3 pans instead of just 2. That way you're not just sitting here waiting idle. Because like right now I could be doing the steaks. Goodness me, I need a drink. I got a dry throat. So while we're waiting on that, our next step is to cook the steaks. So once you remove the carrots, you're going to put them into another container and set them aside. And the reason they wanted the carrot sliced this way, I'm guessing, is for presentation purposes. Instead of just having just regular old round carrots, you have a nice pretty slice. which makes sense. This kind of puts a glaze on them. It's a lighter glaze. It's not a heavy glaze. Those are really good. It's nice and light, and it's a little buttery, but that's okay. I don't mind butter. As you guys can tell, I have a little one, so I try to keep the handles pushed off to the side as much as possible. However, he is tall enough to grab them, so I do have to be careful. That's why he's not allowed to be in the kitchen. So I need to get something. Yeah, I think that'll work. It'll be fine. So we have 30 seconds left on our timer, but I see that the water is gone. So I'm hoping that it didn't burn, and it did not. So that's awesome. That makes me happy. I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit here. It is still pretty wet. It is not overcooked. It's not undercooked. It is perfect. It still has got that meaty texture to it. So that's really important. I don't like my rice to be too soft, and I don't like it to be too hard. Alright, so I'm going to take my carrots off right now. Alright, so I've got those off to the side. Now we're going to start the steaks. Now, this recipe calls for a little bit of olive oil added. However, I do not have just plain olive oil, so I'm going to add some vegetable oil. My olive oil that I currently have is pineapple, which, I mean, I guess pineapple would be suited okay for this, but I'm just not, yeah, just not feeling it, I guess. So, okay. So this says 145 degrees internal temperature, which is 4 to 6 minutes per side. And then you're supposed to sprinkle the rub over it. Now, it's a sirloin cut, so if you are like me and don't like to overcook your steak, you don't have to cook it as long, which is really important. because you want a steak that you and your family are going to eat. So something to point out right now, since you can actually see the meat right now and you can see which way the grain is going. So when you cut your steak, you want to go against the grain, not with the grain. So if you look here, you can see the grain is going this way. So when we cut this steak, we want to go this way. Whereas this steak, it's running kind of diagonal, so we're going to cut this way as well. So that's something that if you've ever noticed that your steak is super tough to like eat or cut, change the direction that you're cutting it, just for the simple fact that you're probably cutting against cutting with the grain or cutting with the grains. So it does make your steak tougher. And I'm just moving the oil around. You have to be very careful with this, especially with a gas stove because you have an open flame underneath and you don't want to catch anything on fire. If you happen to do have a grease fire, use baking soda or I guess you could use flour to neutralize the flame. Never use water because water and oil do not mix and you will just cause a bigger problem for yourself. So I am ready to flip these over. I want to turn my heat down a little bit because of the edges. See how brown the edges are? I want it to be a more even cook. And the slower you cook them, the more tender they're going to be. So if you cook them too fast and too hot, they're going to be tough. So while things are starting to finish up here with the steak, I am going to take out my plates so I can plate my steak. Just going to try and flip these on their sides a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and turn my timer off because I don't need it. Because I want it to be even all the way around here. So once I'm done with my steak here, I'm on to step 5, which is our sauce. Now, do keep in mind that your steak is going to continue to cook once it is sitting off to the side and it's resting. Please keep that in mind. Okay, so now we're going to make the sauce. So we want to use the same pan with the same grease and the same seasonings. And it actually does say you do not need to wipe it clean. So, which is kind of strange to me, because a lot of times when you use oils, they ask you to dump the excess oil out. So, they do not say that here. So, we're going to add our water and our mirin. Or mirin. I'm not sure what that word actually is. Mirin, maybe? And I did not realize. Oh, okay. Tanaku. This sauce. Ooh, it's nice and pretty. Oh my gosh, and the smell. Woo, that's amazing. One thing I have to say about this dish is everything has smelt amazing so far. Nothing has smelt terrible. So that's really impressive. And then we take our demi-glaze that we have. And pour that in there. Which also smells amazing. And you're like, of course it does. You just said everything smells amazing. So I want to make sure that I'm getting this really incorporated together. and that none of the thick spots are sticking together. I want this nice and even and fluid. You want this at a medium heat. And you want to stir it 1 to 2 minutes until slightly thickened. So see, like right now it's very runny. We're just going to keep stirring. Which it is possible that it'll take more than 1 to 2 minutes. I didn't set my timer, so I'm not exactly sure. So once you get it like that, you can just move it back and forth. Make sure that you've got it nice and fluid. I turned up the heat a little bit so it's actually at medium heat. So the center, I can already tell, is going to get done faster just because of the way my stove is sitting. And this pan has a little bit of a heap in the center, which I'm not sure why. But my main thing is to just keep it moving. And to make sure that everything gets incorporated together. I feel like you can already tell the center is getting thicker, whereas the outer layers are more fluid. I did have a lot of oil left in there because I did not measure my oil. So that's another reason that it is probably taking a little longer. Okay, I like how that's looking. So I'm going to turn that off. Jameson, don't start, bud. Alright, so I've got my little container over here. I'm going to turn you guys around. And I'm going to attempt to put this in this bowl without spilling any. So it is a bigger bowl than I thought I was going to need. But that's okay. Because any sauce left over, if there's any sauce left over, I can just store and use at a later time. This would probably be good on like meat, like roast beef or something. Okay. So I'm going to move these out of the way. All right. So now my steaks have rested. Move this out of the way. And I can go ahead and cut them. Now, some of you are going to want your steak more cooked. Some of you are going to want it less cooked. If you get to this point and you're like, oh my gosh, I need it more cooked, that's okay. Don't worry. You can throw it back on the grill just like this and get it more cooked. So I'll show you real quick what I mean. Turn your pan back on. And you literally take them and lay them down. This is a little rarer than what I enjoy. Now for my husband, this would be perfect. Whoops. This is more rare than medium rare that I like. On mine, I should have done the full 6 minutes on each side. I'm also realizing that I'm not a very good steak cutter. And I'm making a hot mess out of this. And not like the picture. So, there's that. It now does not look very appetizing. So I'm just going to make it the best I can here with the presentation. And let's see what I mean here in a second. Buddy, you can wait a minute. I'm taking a paper towel and just touching the plate up a little bit. So, as you can tell, my Mad Chef knife skills are not there. It's just not. Sorry about the vibration. So yeah, there's that. I'm just taking a paper towel and just cleaning up the plate a little bit. All right, now we can plate the rest of our food. We have our rice off to the side. Which I should have fluffed one more time. It says to plate it as in the picture. I do not have that ability. So I will make it as cute as I can in my way. Just kind of forming a little ball there, my own way. There we go. Now we've got our carrots. There we go. And just gonna add a little more of the rub. I sprinkled some rub on it when it got done cooking. While it was resting. All right. Now, oh no. Hold that thought. You can wait. Okay, so I had to wash that because I dropped it. So you can tell that our sauce is getting thicker. So I'm just going to plate it over it. Or spoon it over it, I guess. A little extra on the side. Don't be alarmed, that's just the blood from the meat. Because it was rare. Nobody freak out. Okay. And that is our version of the Japanese sirloin steak plate. Like I said, they have better knife skills than I do. But that's it. If you want to see more from us, just comment, like, and share. Comment, like, subscribe down below. And we'll see you guys next time.